What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the This Day podcast. Y'all, I'm so excited for this episode. This week on the podcast, we have Hudson and Emily, and this extraordinary couple has a goal to visit every country in the world. Yes, the world, y'all. They are extraordinary people, and I cannot wait for you to hear their story. We had the best time talking, and y'all, God is using them in incredible ways to minister to people across the country. So check out their story as they visit every country in the world. Tune in right now after a word from our sponsor. About our podcast sponsor, Faithful Counseling. Faithful Counseling provides mental health therapy from a biblical perspective. They have professional licensed therapists right there and ready to help you in your time of need. To get 10% off of your first month of therapy, you can go to my link, faithfulcounseling.com/thisdayministry today to check out what they have to offer. Hudson and Emily, it's so good to talk to you today and just meet you guys. So why don't you go ahead and just kind of share a little bit about yourselves and just what you guys have been doing the past couple months.
Thank you so much for having us on. We're so inspired by you and really appreciate it.
We are Hudson and Emily. We've been married for the past 11 years and traveling for about the past 7. And our goal right now is to try to visit every country. So we've been traveling and hopefully hitting that. We love travel and we love Jesus and love meeting people all around the world.
I love it. Now, one question we ask everybody that comes on the podcast is, what is keeping you present during this current day? And y'all have a lot going on in your life right now. So what's keeping you present right now?
I love this question. For us, we always try to prioritize spending time with the Lord and also just like thinking at the end of the day what we're grateful for and always trying to learn something from it. Because I feel like every single day we're learning something and growing. So I feel like a lot of our time is just like processing that and praying through it, but it definitely keeps us present in each day.
I love that. Now, you guys said kind of there in the beginning that you're on this whole venture to see every country, and you basically have seen a lot of the world so far. So tell us what started this whole journey for you guys.
It started actually our freshman year of college, which I'm ashamed to say that we're now 32 years old. So that was a long time ago. And it started with the goal to visit the 50 states. So 4 years after getting married, we spent 4 years saving, bought this old RV off of Craigslist and renovated that. And then spent 2 years traveling around the US in an old RV. And then since then, we've just never kind of stopped traveling.
Yeah, we fell in love with travel. And I feel like the people part of travel is our favorite, like just meeting people around the world.
Wow. Now, how many places have you guys been so far?
We're in our 142nd country out of 195 or 197.
Okay, so you're up there. You're almost to the finish line.
We're excited. Yeah, we still feel like we have a long way to go. But we're grateful for, and we say this often to each other, just like each day, each country that we're able to visit, we're just grateful for.
I'm sure, absolutely. Now, what have been like some standouts to you guys? You've seen a lot, so I'm sure there's like a lot of favorite moments, but do you have any like top 5 that you just...
One of my like fulfilling a little kid dream was getting to see the pyramids of Egypt.
Yeah.
I studied that in I think like 4th grade and always like just was fascinated by it. But then seeing them in person, they're even bigger and more incredible than I imagined.
Yeah, the crazy fact with the pyramids that like when we were there, we just couldn't wrap our minds around is that they're so old that we are now closer to the time of Jesus than Jesus was to the time of the pyramids. And I just couldn't wrap my mind around how old they really are. For me, I would say a highlight was we did like a self-safari driving in the Serengeti in Tanzania. And it was during the Great Migration, so it's all the wildebeest going from Tanzania to Kenya, just like in Lion King, where there's the whole stampede. And that was maybe a little more adventure than what we had. A lot of stories from that safari, but it was an incredible experience.
That sounds incredible. I mean, you basically lived in a real life Disney movie there for a minute.
I would say with people, some standout moments have been recently. We went through West Africa, a lot of like public transportation, like shared taxis. This one was like a 7-passenger minivan that they put 11 adults and 2 kids, so 13 people stuffed into one van. And so you get very comfortable and close with people, and we didn't speak their language often. It was like French or Portuguese in a lot of the countries, and people were so kind to us. Like, I can't imagine, it felt like every one we did, someone would take us under their wing and like help us through immigration, give us candy or cookies or fruit.
So many kind people all through West Africa.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, how long total will this whole adventure take you guys once you're said and done from start to finish?
We've been traveling for the past 7 years now. Some of that was in the US, and hopefully we'll finish, we're hoping, by next year.
Yeah, and end of next year, depending on visas mostly, and the finances and logistics of it all, but that's our hope.
Wow, very cool. Now, what are some of the more like interesting experiences that you've learned from this whole journey? Like either travel wise or things that you wish you would have known going into it that now you're like, oh, well, glad to know post in hindsight.
That's a really good one. I think especially recently with a lot of our experiences is we've learned that people are all just like, even though we may have vastly different cultures and vastly different even religions or things that it looks different on the outside, people are all basically the same on the inside. We all have the same basic needs and wants. And the more we travel, I think we used to look at like the differences of people. Like whenever you go somewhere, it's like, wow. And the more that we travel and the more people we meet, how kind they are, I think we've been able to see more of the similarities of just everyone. And we all are searching for something. We all want to be loved. We all want purpose. And that's been really cool to realize.
Yeah, we've really loved learning about people's cultures and what they believe, and we love when we have the opportunity to share about our love for Jesus. And I think it's deepened like our hearts to live out what the Bible says of loving God and loving people. And a lot of that, is being inspired by people's kindness to us. So I'm really thankful for what we've learned.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds incredible. So once your guys are completely done traveling, what is just like a core memory or a core moment that you're kind of going to take with you that you're never going to forget about these 7, 8, 9 years that you've spent traveling?
I would say recently, we were in Afghanistan, and we had the opportunity we met these 2 guys who were super kind to us. And on the last night we were there, we got to see them again, and they invited us to their homes. And so I got to sit in a room with 15 women from Afghanistan, and I unfortunately didn't speak their language. A few of them spoke a little bit of English, but it was a moment I'll never forget. And like just their kindness and joy, and like they did little henna tattoos on my hands, and it just was like a really sweet time that I never imagined I'd have, and I think I'll always remember. It
was very sweet. Absolutely. Now, so many people have dreamed about like going out and chasing these bucket list dreams, and you guys like actually did it. You went out, you did your bucket list of travel. What encouragement do you have for people that are like sitting on their couch or like listening to this and they're like, we need to go and like do our bucket list, but we're too scared to get off the couch or too scared to leave our state? What advice would you give people?
For us, the quote that we've had for since we've been married is think of the stories you want to tell when you're older and then go out and live them. So whether that be travel or whether it be whatever your stories that you want to tell, is just start with whatever that is. So for us, we never imagined that we would travel to any other country and but we knew that we wanted to travel, so we just started by buying an old RV and traveling around our area. So I think encouragement for other people is if it's travel that you want to do, is literally just seek those little adventures and don't wait to be like someday maybe I'll go to this far away place. Is literally just start with whatever's around you.
Yeah, I feel like that quote applies like so differently to each person and also in different seasons of life. I feel like we'll have a completely different outlook in 10 or 20 years from now. But I love that about just like starting small and pursuing what are those stories that you want to tell someday.
Yeah. Now, for you guys, you have been like go, different countries, different places. When you're finally done, do you have a plan that comes after this, or are you just going to sleep? It is okay to say that you're going to sleep, but what comes
That's
next
so
for y'all?
funny. That's funny. We are so excited to have a family. We're both like, yeah, just we've been married for 11 years. So we imagined always to be like younger parents. And now we've loved this life of travel. But there's definitely moments that we really look forward to having a house and kids someday. So once we're done pursuing, trying to go to every country, we really look forward to trying for that.
Well, you guys will have the best bedtime stories to tell your little kiddos someday, I'm sure.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
Now, how can people keep up with your adventures? How can people stay up to date with what you guys are doing?
We are Hudson and Emily on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and we try to share daily videos of our experiences, the ups and downs of our trip, and also some travel tips along the way.
Very cool. Well, thank y'all so much for hanging out today. It's been so much fun. I'm so glad we could just take a minute of your little trip time and talk with you guys.
Thank you so much. It was so great talking to you.
You're
I really appreciate it.
so kind, and I am so inspired by what you're doing. So thank you so much for having us.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're inspired by you guys and just you guys going out and living your dream. It's so inspiring.
Thank you so much.
Y'all, wasn't that conversation so fun? Hudson and Emily encouraged me so much where I needed to be encouraged this week. They reminded me to just go out and do all the stuff that I've been putting off for so many years. So I pray that you were just as encouraged as I was encouraged. Friends, you can keep up with Hudson and Emily on all the social platforms. And you totally should do it. You can see all the fun places they've traveled. It's so exciting. You can live vicariously through their incredible travel adventures, see the highs, the lows, and everything in between. If you were wondering what's going on in our ministry, y'all, we got a lot going on. So keep up to date with us on all the social media at This Day Ministry. Friends, thank you so much for listening today, and I pray that you know that you are so, so loved.